Hello again folks, and I hope you're all still in good health, hey. Something a little different this week. We're out after rabbits, but at night time, using the Pard NV007 and the NV019 night vision spotter. I've brought the FX Crown with me tonight. It's in 22 caliber and I'm shooting the 21 grain H&N Slugs at about 900 feet per second through a 500mm superior pellet liner. The scope I'm using is a Bushnell Tactical Elite 2.5 to 16 by 42. Now, as with a lot of other people, I've always found it difficult judging ranges at night using the NV. So I decided to follow some people's recommendations and getting one of the little gun-mountable laser rangefinders. Now, I bought this from Custom Rifle Scopes UK as well as the Pard NV019 spotter, but due to COVID and everything, this is really the first time I've had it out in the field. So we'll see how we get along with it. But I've only really walked about 50-60 yards from the gate and I spot my first rabbit. The little laser rangefinder says it's just over 40 yards, so I just need to aim dead on. That's rabbit number 1 down. One wee word of advice: if you're ever working with night vision, take some sort of head torch with you, because trying to find shot game at night without one is near impossible, and believe me, I know, as I spent a night wandering around a field with the torch on my phone trying to find rabbits. Looks like a nice clean headshot, and yes, I know, too much IR intensity. I'll have to learn to turn that down for the close-up shots. I brought I think it's a French Army rucksack with me tonight, with a separate waterproof liner inside to put the rabbits in instead of the usual game bag I carry, just to see if it makes life any easier really. As you can see, I'm using a binocular harness to carry the Pard NV019. It's just a cheap buy off of Amazon, and it does keep your hands free, but now and again the unit does clang in the rifle or something, which I don't like. We'll just have a wee sneaky peek over the gate into the next field before we try and climb it. What the heck's that thing? It actually turned out to be a tyre with a bucket vitamin lick in it, but that looks like a rabbit or two there, and nothing else in the field. I don't usually like trying to shoot off the top of a gate, but I know if I try and climb it to the other side, those rabbits will be long gone. So I made as solid a stance as I could in the muck and rangefind the rabbits, which were about 40 to 40 yards plus, so couldn't ask for much better, hey. That's another 2 rabbits down, and I've only walked just over 100 yards. This is the same permission that, if you remember, I got reacquainted with and shot a few rabbits with my Virach HW97 through the summer over. Yes, for those tutting away in the background, I know I should be climbing the gate on the hinge side, but the thing's that well grown into the hedge either side, I can't get near the hinge without getting tangled up in briars. Looks like another nicely overexposed headshot. And again, hey. Well, at least YouTube can't gripe at me for showing too much blood. We'll just give them both a wee squeeze to help remove any excess fluids before I put them into the bag, as I don't fancy my back or my camera covered in rabbit pee. Oh why, the camera, if you're interested. It's just an old Sony Handycam that I picked up off of eBay, but it has the night shot feature on it, and I mounted a small IR torch to the top of it. It's a bit basic, but it seems to be recording decent footage anyway. Now this is the field I shot the 2 rabbits with the Viroc HW97 earlier in the year, and there seemed to be a good few rabbits about it then, so I had high hopes I'd see plenty with the night vision. But there didn't seem to be anything down the left hand side of the field as there was that summer night. But I did spot a couple at the bottom of the field. Though I'd like to get a good bit closer before trying to take a shot. I'm in range, but they're already starting to make their way towards the hedgerow. They definitely know something's up. Probably because I kept tripping over tussocks of grass in the dark. And by the time I got the rifle and the sticks sorted out, they were about ready to disappear into the undergrowth. The little laser rangefinder was telling me about 50 yards, so I aimed about an inch high and took the shot. And totally missed. The second rabbit sat on for a while, but I decided since I missed the first, I definitely don't know what range I'm working at, so decided not to take the shot. Whether I just plain missed or the rangefinder was getting confused with the undergrowth, I don't know. But there's always other rabbits about. I decided to give the bottom field a scan. It is a very rough and reedy field, but I did notice ice shine quite a distance across it. So I decided to cross the fence and investigate further. I must reset the date in the NV019 someday, as it's way off. I made my way across the field towards where I'd seen the ice shine, and it was quite rough. There's humps and hollows and lots of undergrowth, which was really making it difficult walking through it at night, as well as spotting the rabbits in it. And thinking back on it, things went a wee bit pear-shaped. but I honestly think there was more than one rabbit, even though I only seen one at a time. But I finally got into position and spotted one to my left hand side. I'd managed to get within about 39 to 40 yards according to the little laser rangefinder, so I just needed to aim dead on. What? I missed again. I think I honestly pulled the shot just below its chin. I scanned left and right to try and find it, but no, it was gone. Standing up to get a better view through the undergrowth, I started scanning about again and spotted a rabbit to my right hand side. I don't think it was the same rabbit, as it seemed too calm, but I couldn't get a proper laser rangefinder reading. There was just too much undergrowth. So I decided to move position a little to try and get a better angle at the rabbit. I'd managed to close the range a good bit, but there was still a bit of grass and reeds in the road. But this was as good a shot as I was going to get. The rangefinder was still giving me funny readings, bouncing off the vegetation, but they were all fairly short numbers, well within point blank range. So I took the shot. And thankfully dropped the rabbit where it stood. I'm not sure if I would try hunting this field at night again. It's so rough and uneven, you could quite easily go down a rattle, even with the head torch on. Now that's a better bit of filming there. I'm starting to learn, hey. We'll get it into the bag with the rest of them. Man, there's some trains running tonight. I'll give you a quick look at the setup. FAC crown and 22 caliber using Slugs. The little laser rangefinder side mounted to the scope, and the pressure switch is mounted onto the bottle with a wee bit of elastic and velcro. Then I've got the Pard NV007 mounted to the back, and I have the Pard NV007 mounted onto the harness, which does rattle up against the gun now and again, so maybe I need to tighten things up a bit or something. Is it just me, or is putting those harnesses on feel like putting a bra on or something? Not that I've put too many bras on in my day, that is. Oh boy, wise man once said, when in deep hole, stop digging. Now, by the time I'd navigated my way out of that rough field and back up the hill again with 4 rabbits in my bag, I was starting to work up a bit of a sweat. But there was one last field I wanted to check out with the NV007 before I left, and yeah, it looks like it was the honey pot all along. And, just for giggles, I decided to also give it a scan with the NV007, which, as you can see, gives you a much more detailed image than the NV019, which I really have set up in quite a wide view just to help scan a field quickly, looking just for eye shine. Tempted I was, I have to say, but I was tired by this time, and the farmer told me that the cattle were in this field somewhere, so I decided they'll do for another night, as I didn't want to disturb the cattle. Well folks, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I know 4 rabbits is no record-breaking bag, but it was still an enjoyable way to spend an evening, and I know there's still more rabbits there for another night. But until then, look after yourselves and take care, hey.